Hello everyone again, welcome back. Today I thought about making a video with some tips for you guys, even though the channel is not really about giving any advice. It's mostly about me just doing my thing, showing how I train. But this time I decided that maybe it's good to talk about some arm wrestling training tips, just because it is also a good reminder for myself. Sometimes we tend to forget things. So just recently I was thinking about how to get stronger, and I think I remembered the best way to develop arm wrestling strength. And if you will, most likely everyone knows about it anyways. It's quite common knowledge, I guess. But if you don't really think about it too much, sometimes we just forget and do something else which is maybe not the most effective. So normally, like if you look at these world champions from the recent world championships or European championships, you can always see that people are actually winning in almost the same way. Even though the techniques are different, at the end the idea behind them is always pretty much the same. So let me just highlight it for you. As we all know, arm wrestling is really a lot about tendons and joints and ligaments. So it's not a surprise that we should work on those areas, because whenever you want to be strong in some position, normally you are not, for example, if I'm like at an arm wrestling table, I'm not really fighting somewhere away from my locked position, right? So for example, if my arm, let's say in a hook, can go to almost here, this is where I will normally stay, because like it cannot go anymore, right? And also, if I am somewhere here, it's really hard to generate pressure and use my frame, because it's really on the muscle here. My frame is not helping the muscle. So normally I would like to be at the end of my range of motion, so my joint and tendons are activated fully in tension. So this is in the case of hook. If I maybe use some triceps press, I maybe even flop press, it's also the same thing. I'm not pressing here. I'm really at the end of my range of motion, right? The arm cannot really go any further. And even the same actually with my wrist, you know. Sometimes it's good to let it go, because when my joints are fully engaged, the hand cannot really buckle anymore. So, and that's how I really utilize my frame to the fullest. Like, in the case of top roll, again, I am trying to sit in somewhat of a locked position. For example, I can still straighten my arm this way, but not really that way. So I'm somehow sitting and defending, or even attacking from that locked position. The arm doesn't go anymore. So since we do know that those locked positions are the most efficient, we would like to also develop muscles around them, so they become even stronger and safer. If you sometimes leave it too much to your joints, then they will fail at some point. So building muscles around those positions is a good way to develop arm wrestling strength. That's what I'm trying to say. And how do you do that? I think you also have to always somehow go until the limit, you know, of your range of motion. For example, if I'm training for some triceps press, I would always go until the limit, almost let it to the joint, like leave all the weight to the joint, you know, the muscles should be relaxed, and from that position I'm using the muscle. So I'm somehow building the muscle really about the locked position, because that's the position where I'm stopping. You know, normally if you are doing your biceps and you go to a full extension, you will be very strong at that full extended position, and you will be able to lift weight off that fully extended position. And the same also in arm wrestling is we do those low range of motion exercises because that's how we build muscle around those areas, right? So if I am always doing my biceps curls around this area, I tend to be really strong off that starting position, and I don't really need to extend anymore, right? So so that's the trick basically. In the case of hook, I would also just go until my full range of motion, and then just use the muscle out of it basically. So I am able to build the muscle around the joint. And the most important for myself, the top roll movement feels like this big range of motion somehow activates my shoulders too much, so I'm doing something quite small around that locked position. And that's the main idea. I'll try to not forget it, so I can keep using it and get stronger. You're also welcome to try it out. I'm sure it's not really anything new, but it's just good to remember. See you guys.